Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, good people. Today is Thursday, June 30th, the last Thursday of the month. You're here with GFT Radio, Grown Folk Talk Radio. It's your boy, J. Rowe. I got my co-host with me, Clint, and Sonny D. Say what up.
What's going on, good people?
Hey, guys.
Tonight, we have a great show planned for you tonight. We're going to talk about a couple of things. The one thing we're going to talk about is why is a celebrity voice louder than our own? That's our main topic on GFT today. If you want to call in, the phone number is 657-583-1155. Phone lines open up at 10:15. You can catch us on GFT Radio on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And that's about it. I mean, log in. I'm pretty sure you're already logged in if you're hearing this right now. We appreciate that. But we're just going to hop right into this, talking about why is the celebrity voice often louder than our regular voice. I know a lot of you people probably have seen the BET Awards that came on over the weekend, and everybody's talking about this Jesse Williams speech that he gave when he got his Humanitarian of the Year award, and he gave this big speech, and everybody's all up in arms and praising him and all these other things. In my opinion, I just see it as just another person saying what's already been said, and they kind of stirring up the fire, stirring the pot again. They're bringing in these issues and everything back up. But these are things that have been said for years. This is a topic when it comes to like racism and things like not even just racism, just like the whole issue of race, black people, white people, women, men, kids. It's just a issue that's been in the news for the last year. It's been in the news heavy for the last few years. But I just don't understand. Like we. Personally, the GFT hosts have had plenty of shows talking about this. There's other celebrities that have talked about this. There's even the mom, dad, neighbor, brother, sister, whoever who have brought issues like this up. But nobody has jumped on the bandwagon or made a big issue about it as much as they're making an issue since Jesse Williams made this whole speech. And my opinion on it is us as a people, as a whole, are kind of like giving these celebrities a little more power than they should be having, just because they have a voice that reaches out more to more people. They have a bigger following. And I just don't think it's right. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like I say, I mean, this is an issue that's been brought up for years. And now you get a famous celebrity who brings it up, and there's all kind of talk about it on internet and social media and news and everything else. What do you guys think about that? Clint, what you got to say about that?
Well, I definitely agree with you that, what he said was right, but it's been said before. He didn't, he didn't reinvent the wheel or anything with his speech or anything. My thing is, I think the reason why people value celebrity voices over ours or over a neighbor or a friend, a brother, boyfriend, girlfriend is because they value popularity over substance. They think popularity, just because somebody's popular, what they say holds more weight, which is not necessarily true. And I think that's where, especially with black people, we quick to jump on the wave, so to speak. In my opinion, if something seemed cool, as soon as he said it, gave his speech, people was posting on all the social media websites, and people was just running wild with it. The memes, you got people talking about they were crying, or what he said almost made them cry, which bugged me out because, like you said, J. Ro, like when I listened to it, it was like, all right, okay, that's been said before. What are we going to do? We keep talking about it, but what are people actually doing? Everybody going to celebrate what he said, or are people going to act on it? That's what I took from it.
That's definitely a good thing that you said right there. Like they have to act on it. I mean, yes, you can sit here and praise that guy, just like you said at the beginning. What he said wasn't wrong, but it's been said before. Like I don't disagree with what he said, but what I disagree with is how everybody's hopping on this wave, on this bandwagon. And, nothing's going to happen unless people act on it. You can sit here and praise this guy and make all the memes and social media posts and everything you want, but nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change unless people act on it. Sonny, what you got to say about that?
Well, I agree with what you guys said, like you said, and I'm not here to agree, but I do agree with what you guys are saying. I look at it like I was saying before, that I look at it like he was talking to his peers. He was telling his fellow celebrities that we need to do something. You know, like we need to take action. Not to say that he wasn't talking to the black people as a whole community, but to think that he was talking to them, because these celebrities, not all, but some are clueless. They're so wrapped up in their bubble of money and shiny objects and things like that. They allow themselves to be naive or ignorant to what's going on, where they see things going on and they're not speaking up. And I think that he came from a standpoint of saying us as a whole, we need to take charge because we have this power. We need to use our platform to make a difference and start making some attempt at a change. Like you said, he's not the first person to say it. Plenty of people have said the same thing he said. And like I agree with you guys as far as, you know, them saying or saying that other people have spoken this very same thing, not exactly the same words, but has spoken out against social injustice and different injustices that a lot of us black folks face. And, like, you know, so it's not the first, and he won't be the last, but I think that I understand his speech, I respect it, but I think that he was more speaking to his peers. Like, we need to do something and stop talking about this frivolous stuff, and we need to take action.
Let me ask you this.
Support ourselves.
Let me ask you this. Now, when you're saying that he was speaking to his peers and, you know, they need to take action, is this along the same lines as the Jada Pinkett and the Will Smith when they were trying to get everybody to boycott the awards for not having any black people in the awards? Is that along the same line?
To an extent, yes.
Now, what happened?
I believe so. Like, nothing happened with that. They basically said Jada was just saying, doing it like the way it was perceived, that she was just being a whiner. But I think that sometimes when it comes to this, not to play the men against women, but I think her cause of action was kind of like, we need to do this. But I think when not all women, but when certain women speak on a topic they choose to speak on, well, not certain women, when she spoke, I think that spoke out against the Oscars or whatever, she, like, her, I don't know, for whatever reason, nobody really paid her any attention. But I think that when, as a man, he commanded, like, listen, this is what I'm going to take my time, and instead of doing this speech, I'm going to speak to my peers and say, this is what we need to do. And I think his words were more, like, were slightly different than hers to an extent, because he didn't just touch on the words, he touched on everything. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think with the Jada thing, it was perceived as, she just mad her husband didn't win or wasn't nominated or whatever, you know. So I think people trivialize that. Where in a way, that's what she was touching on. Like, yeah, she was supporting her husband, but she was also, you know what I mean, trying to go at the establishment. But the fact that it was her husband who she was, you know, most people didn't even see the movie. Most black people didn't even see the movie. So it wasn't received as well. You know, people trivialized it. You know, I kind of agree with you, Sonny, as far as him talking to his peers. But I think he was talking to everybody in general.
Yeah, I believe he was too, but I think he was more geared it towards his peers as to, like, we need to do something.
You know, and I think my issue is with the celebrities' voice, with people that's popular. It's like, you know, like J-Ro is intelligent or whatever. Now, he could say something that's so profound and so mind-blowing, but people won't, but you can get somebody like Jesse, you know what I mean, Jesse Williams, he could say the same exact thing, but since J-Ro isn't perceived to be as successful or as popular as Jesse, it won't, you know, people won't receive it because, you know, we all give people good advice at times, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know when you gave somebody good advice, you know, in their mind, they may receive it, But if you going through something and they see you struggling, they're gonna be like, well, why you don't apply it to yourself?
Yeah.
You say sometimes the message get lost with the messenger.
Yeah.
You know, so I think people look at success. You know, when somebody's successful, say something, even right or wrong, they're gonna ride that wave.
Yeah, that's like relationship bloggers or people that do relationship blogs or whatever the case may be, or talk relationship things. It becomes, are you in a relationship? What's your relationship status? If you're single, so tell me about being in a relationship. But at the same time, I think people lose. Like it's kind of like the same. Like you lose the fact that this person might be like 50, 60 years old and been through some things and know a few things more than what me at 33 would know. But because this person is not in a relationship, I just like their word is lost upon me because they're single themselves. So I think it's kind of like the same. Like you lose that because of you're expecting, like you said, with somebody that's more successful. Oh, they probably their words will hit them more and they'll actually hear it and receive it.
Perceived successful.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because success is different for everybody. You know, I mean, everybody don't want to be famous.
Now, let me ask you another question. Going back to this again, we had a show about this not too long ago when Beyonce had her Super Bowl performance, and it was kind of along the same lines, you know, when she had the formation and the whole Super Bowl performance, and everybody was, you know, jumping on the wave and all up in arms about that. Is that along the same lines as with Jessie, like her message, not just her performance, but like her message that she brought with the performance, with the song? Is that along the same lines of with Jesse Williams? Is that along the same lines as the Jesse Williams situation?
I don't know. That's a tricky one for me.
Yeah, because I think it was more so of she made a statement, but it was the performance. It wasn't like she made
her performance was her statement.
Yeah, her performance was her statement. So it's like go ahead.
I don't know if she caught a lot of backlash from white people immediately. You know what I mean? People were talking about protesting her shows, banning her from events, and all of that, just because of, you know, hers was more geared toward the police or whatever. You know, Jesse touched on it in the beginning about the cops, you know, killing the kids or whatever, but, you know, I think hers was more so a performance, not necessarily, you know, trying to make a profound statement, in my opinion.
All right, well, hold on real quick. All right, let's take her performance out of it and let's focus on her message that she was saying. Is that something that we have been saying? Because we talked about that months ago in earlier shows, you know, with the whole police brutality, you know, the Sandra Bland.
Everybody's been saying that, though.
Right. All the other cases that are out there. We've been saying that before. You know, she comes out in a performance and she has a performance. You know, everybody gets all up in arms. But I mean, you look at us as regular people. We've been saying that for months and years. But she comes out in the performance and she says it, and then she gets like the whole backlash. She gets the people that hate her. She gets the people that love her for her performance. But us being regular people in the neighborhood said the same thing, and people don't listen to us, but they'll listen to these celebrities. Kind of like I say, the same thing with the Jesse Williams. Like, we've been saying this. We've had shows about this before. We've talked about it before, but nobody really gives us the attention or anything that these celebrities.
Yeah, but then
that's when I say like it's kind of on the same line.
Yeah, but then it just goes like this. Like, we can speak our voice, but when somebody has a better platform on us and a larger platform on us, we should honor them or appreciate them. Appreciate them for speaking up because they have a better platform. Like, it goes back to our show when we talk about should celebrities use their celebrity status as a platform to address certain issues. They're not obligated to, but they can, and they have been. They're saying the same things we've been saying. They're saying the same things that have been said, but sometimes it takes a lot of time for somebody to say the same thing, for somebody to say, oh, you know what? Oh, okay, maybe something do need to change. That's like you walk into a wall 50 million times by the 50th time. You're like, you know what? Wait, maybe I should try something different. So, you know, I'm not, like, I appreciate them for making a statement from whatever it was.
I think
because it needs to be said repeatedly. Because somebody's not getting it.
True. And that's my point right there. It's like a double-edged sword with me. Like, with me, we all self-aware, three of us, you know what I mean? We in tune with what's going on or whatever. It's like, my thing is, people shouldn't rely on celebrities to speak up. You know what I mean? You should already be, like, it's 2016. You know what I mean? We are basically the smartest generation ever, supposed to be. We got the most information out there, than there ever was. There's more information available to everybody than there ever was in the history of this world. So my point, my thing is like, why are we still waiting for people that's popular to speak up? Am I mad they spoke up? Absolutely not. But, I'm not about to jump for joy because they spoke up, because in my mind, you should already be woke by now.
Yeah.
You should already be aware by now. It's like people, and, this kind of getting off a little bit off subject, it's like people are still trying to get off on the pain of past generations. You feel me? People are still trying to use these same old excuses from yesteryear. It's like, no. He's like, we know the system is already messed up. We know it's already corrupted. At this point in time, 2016, we should be trying to fix it instead of complaining and still trying to, like, come on, man. Like, social media.
That's the problem. We got so many people sucked into stuff that don't matter. When you have somebody like out in our communities speaking out against things, you don't back them. Why? Because you don't trust them. You won't give money because you don't know where your money's going. Like, it's just like it's a lack of trust.
And it's
a lack of,
it's
ignorance. Yes.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So if you got somebody speak up on a problem and they say we need help to make a stand, like you got to look at back in the day when the civil rights of Martin Luther King and them were always around. When they started those things, people were just donating money. People were doing everything. When they stopped, they boycotted them buses. People were finding other ways to get to work. They were helping each other. That's the problem. We don't help each other. You got 5 people saying the same thing and nobody trying to get together and make it bigger in the community. You see what I'm saying?
That's never going to work in the community. You can't get enough people.
That's the problem, because you don't trust somebody. Well, I don't like this person. It's too much. It's too much unnecessary nonsense to get a couple people together to create unity, because it's some nonsense. It's always something stupid.
You can get them together to shoot a music video, but you can't get them together to help out and fix some real issues in the community. That's what the issue is.
Like, I posted on my blog a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. He said, "Nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity." And to me, that's what we're stuck in. It's like, people are happy to walk around ignorant. You feel me? Like, I never believed the old saying, ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? Like, ignorance is pain. Like, it's so much you need to know. You feel me? And we passing that ignorance on down to younger generations.
Yeah.
It's like, how at this point in time, with all this information available, with all this knowledge, it's like people lack understanding. It's like, what at what will it change? Why are we still looking for a savior? Because that's what basically, to me, is coming down to with black folk. It's like we're looking for this one person to come through and save us. That's what they did with Obama. They thought Obama was going to change everything. Obama was going to make everything great. But you seen once Obama got in there, and through these 8 years, it's been a lot of the same old. Racism has reared its ugly head, even worse than what it was before he became president.
Yeah, because now we got these terror groups that just hate us and just killing everybody that's our allies, and it's just crazy. It's just getting crazy until they come over here and do the same thing.
Yeah, like I don't. At some point, we got to start. You feel me? Start from the ground. Everybody want to jump to the top. It start from the ground and the grassroots, and the grassroots is the community. So at some point, like y'all was just saying, we have to become a community again. We become a community again, then we wouldn't be so so gung-ho waiting on somebody or so happy that some celebrity said something. You know, that's just how I look at it. I don't know.
Phone lines are open right now. You can hit us up, 657-383-1155. We got a good conversation going on here. Good, great topics we have. But we're going to keep on rolling with this. So, what's up, Clint? Go ahead.
Y'all already know who I wanted, who I just milked her head, bitch. I want to talk about. Stacey Dash. You feel me? Like, I don't understand what her problem is. If people don't know out there, she had her own negative reaction to what Jesse Williams said. Now, we're not saying anything negative about what he said. We're really just talking about the reaction of the people. I think we all agree what he said made sense.
Yes.
She gets out here, she want to call him a Hollywood slave. He stuck on the plantation. She back to that BET is what's wrong with black people. They're ghettoizing black folk and this, that, and the third. It's like she's trying so hard to pander and assimilate with these white people who really don't give a damn about her. You feel me? They just like the fact that she's to the contrary of what I would say a lot of black people follow. She don't, but at the same time, she made her bones off of us, off of black folk.
Question. I was just
if it wasn't for,
but is Stacey Dash really still relevant? Didn't she start off her career as a video vixen, as a video model? She was all over BET doing all of that, and now she's all of a sudden like some political want to be putting down everybody who like Stacey Dash isn't relevant to me anymore.
Yeah, like to me, like no disrespect, no disrespect to all the females out there who, I love the strip clubs. You feel me? I said the strip clubs, but so I don't. So I just want to preface that before I don't judge. But what I'm saying is, if you getting up there and your claim to fame is posing nude in Playboy, your claim to fame is not it's not her intelligence. It was never her intelligence. We ain't give a damn about her intelligence. It was all based off her looks. You feel me? Your claim to fame was based off your looks. So to me, it's like you sounded like a hypocrite, because if black people want to pump you up like we did because you look so good at 30 plus years old playing a teenager and Clueless, everybody was like, damn, she is beautiful. You feel me? So, like, you got your claim to fame off that, but at the same time, you want to demean other black people every chance you get. We made you who you are. You wouldn't even be able to be on that show that you're on with those white folks being a correspondent if it wasn't for us. You know what I mean? And your affiliation with, that everybody knew that was Dame Dash. Once people realized, especially in the hood, realized Dame Dash was her cousin back in the day, she got a hood pass. Oh, that's Dame Dash's cousin. She got a hood pass. But now you like Dame Dash, he was like, you watch his little blog or whatever, he's like, man, she lost. She don't know what she talking about. You know what I mean? She out there, like, oh, man. That milk her head bitch get on my nerves, man.
She's just trying to stay relevant. She's just trying to stay relevant.
It's like, but, oh, man, I hate people like that. I hate, like, stand on facts. You understand? Like, if you come into if you got an opposing opinion of what I have, stand on facts. Stand on, something that's, that's relevant. Don't start demeaning me. You can't win an argument with anybody like that in my eyes. You can't win a debate. What she, like, her whole issue is to demean her own race, to make herself look good for them. She's playing a role. That's what I think. I don't even think half the stuff she say, she really believes. But she's going to say it just because that's the role she playing. And, I got an issue with that. I really got an issue with that. Don't talk about he ghettoizing, BET. First of all, BET ran by white men.
Yes, not many people know or believe that, but yes, that is true.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's Bob Johnson sold that years ago. You feel me? He sold that years ago. Not even ran by black people like that. So, you know, I don't ever see her say nothing about TV One. You know, TV One is actually, you know, we talked about the woman on Women's History Month.
Yeah.
Kathy Hughes, I believe.
Hughes. Yep.
Yeah, she owned that. She don't talk about. See, she know who to attack and who not to attack. Because TV One really no different than what BET used to be at all. TV One just mainly show all black people shows and events and stuff like that. But she know not to come for her. You feel me? She know not to come for her because that backlash would be so serious that she couldn't withstand it. You know, she couldn't withstand that. She can't come for Kathy. You know what I mean? Because Kathy will get her. But you'll come for, for real, she can't. She can't because, you know what I mean, what leg she got to stand on to come at Kathy? You know, but she'll come at, because BET, I guess, you know, they core audience. You know, I don't even watch BET no more, to be quite honest with you.
I mean,
I really can't say what their core audience is. But I guess their core audience is to, you know, the inner city, I guess. And I guess that's what she has an issue with, you know, rappers, this, that, and the third. But, like, that was your claim to fame, like J-Lo said. I mean, he's a video fixer, this, that, and the third. Like, man, get out of here. Like, get out of here. When you become this prissy, so intelligent, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man, get out of here. That's how you should have came through the door. I mean, you was who you was before you got here. Feel me? Like,
I find it funny too because didn't Stacey Dash say something a couple months ago where she was trying to have people like boycott BET and do away with Black History Month, or saying that BET was like full of lies or something crazy like that? It promotes segregation, and how she wanted to ban it and ban people and basically do away with Black History Month. But apparently she was watching, or she caught wind of BET because she damn sure was on here talking about Jesse Williams. I don't know how you sit here and talk about and try to ban people, ban BET and ban Black History Month, but you out here bringing
watching the damn channel.
Watching it, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Straight hypocrite.
But that's hate. She hate herself. And she at this point, you know that she hate herself. You hate her skin, and she just, for whatever reason, she got to find that within herself. She needs to go sit down with a therapist, and figure out what her problem is. Why does she hate herself?
I got a question. Because this was thrown out there. We're gonna get back to Jesse Williams. This was thrown out there, and you know it even crossed my mind. Like, we know he half white. His mom is white, or whatever. You know, and a lot of white people are mad at him, like, why don't you embrace that side of your family as much as you do the black side? You understand? You know, is there a form of self-hate with him? Because, you know, if you follow him on Twitter and everything, he's always talking about, which I don't have a problem with. You know what I mean? The injustices that black people go through. He was one of the first. You know what I mean? The man real intelligent. And he put his words together, you know what I mean, quite well, to be honest. You know, because I've seen quite a few rants over the past couple of years that he went on Twitter, you know, and, you know, he made sense. It was especially when the, what's the young boy that got killed with the hoodie? Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
Proud. You know what I mean? He went in on that. You feel me? But he never speaks about, I never hear him, you know what I mean, mention, you know what I mean, the other side. You know, he's biracial. I never hear him talk about, you know, white people issues. Because if you sit here and you believe that white people don't got issues, you know what I mean, you're blinded as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the system's set up for them, but they still got issues too within themselves.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think like most people that are biracial, they have like problems because, you know, they raised one way and they raised this way. But then you got like he may have went, I don't know his background, but he may have went to a school where it was predominantly white and he was the only black kid, and you know how that goes, and sometimes your experience is different, and they treat you like, back in the day, you didn't give a damn what percentage of black you were black, period.
But Sarita, he was going to get that same treatment at all black school, too. Let's not sit here and act like black folk innocent. Black folk go in on biracial people, too.
But I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, maybe that was from his standpoint of what he went through from his own personal experience. Like, maybe he didn't go to a black school, maybe he went to all white schools, and he had issues, so therefore he's speaking out against what he saw from his own experience. And maybe that's what made him decide to live his life the way he's been living it. But I mean, I don't know. But I don't know if it's self-hate. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
I had a quick thought or something I wanted to say on that, because Clayton brought up the fact that you think white people have their issues too. I think because of the area, the market that we're in, the area that we live in, most of us are in this South Central, however you want to call it, Jersey area, where there's predominantly black people, a lot of black people here. Now, if we go to a different area, a different market where there are more white people out there than black people, I'm pretty sure that you will find more issues, more white people out there speaking up of the issues that they have in their areas, in their community. But being that we're in this Jersey, Philly, Camden, Trenton, North Jersey area, we hear a lot more of issues within our community, within the black people community, than we hear about in other communities. I think that's mostly due just because of the area that we live in. Not saying that, like you say, white people have issues too, black people have issues, Hispanic people have issues, the Asian people have issues. Everybody has their own issues. But being that we're in this predominantly black area, that's why you hear more issues with us than other people.
I agree. I think I think in today's time, racism is still alive and well. But
that's definitely.
But I think it's more so the system is racist.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching something on YouTube the other day, and it's been floating around on a lot of social media sites. A white lady, she was talking to her. They was in a in a classroom or whatever. She was talking to these older white folks. So she said, if it was all white now, she was like, if you feel as though you could live as a black person and deal with their issues or this, that, and the third, stand up. No white person stood up. She was like, I don't think y'all heard me. She was like, if you don't see no issue with the way black people are treated and the way how they are perceived, and you wouldn't mind living as black, stand up. Nobody stand up. And she said, right there, that's the problem. To me, it's systematic. They're already, the system is already set up with them having a one leg on us.
Mm-hmm.
So, when that's my point to where I go back to, we should already know this.
Yeah.
And I think that's mainly what, Jesse Williams' speech was about, the system. He was like, back in the day we was branded. Now today, we was praying to get unbranded. Now today we praying to get brands on us, for the money. Basically he was really just talking about how the system is using us.
Mm.
And my thing is, we so far, we should be so far past that. Malcolm. That's what Malcolm X was talking about in the '60s. That's what Martin was talking about in the '60s. Black Panthers was talking about in the '60s, the 1960s, in 2016. Why are we still having that same conversation? Why are we still getting excited when somebody addresses that issue? That issue has been addressed over and over. So at some point, what are we going to do? My thing always comes back to education. I think it comes to a lack of education and ignorance. People don't want to educate themselves. They don't want to look deeper. They happy with the status quo, with what they've been taught. You know, they happy with what's been passed down. You know, like the old saying go, you know, I tell my daughter, she be asking me questions. I said, I don't got all the answers, babe. You know, I don't got all the answers. And I said, when you get older, I'm going to be asking you questions because you should be having more knowledge than me. And I need to learn from you. That's what a saying comes from, the young should lead the old. Because at some point, we should become smarter than what our previous generation was.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point right there, Clint. And, you know, you say, you know, it's I heard you say a couple of times that it's 2016 and, you know, things need to change. But my issue with that statement is we said that last year. That it was 2015, you know, we shouldn't be living like this. We said that the year before. We said that the year before that. We said, like, I can just keep going on and keep saying that, hey, you know, we've been saying this over and over. Yo, it's this year. It's a new year. Why are we still living like that? Why are things still like this? It's a whole different year. That's been said for 5, 10, 15 years. And every year somebody thinks that they're going to make a difference and make a change, but we're right back. I guarantee you next year we're going to be talking about the same exact thing. Guarantee you we're going to be talking about the same thing next year.
True. And I guess that's my point. It's like, why are we still here? Why are we still – and that goes to our point of really his speech didn't excite me because I heard it all before.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I heard it all before. Let's do something, you know? And I think it starts first at home, as we all know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, it spreads to your neighbors. And then that's how the community get involved. You know, I think everybody really need to look in the mirror.
Like, you know about my head when you were talking? Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. That right. No, I'm serious. The whole time we were talking, that's been in my head because it's even when we talked about Beyonce and her performance, like these, you know how many songs that these entertainers have said. You can look at Man in the Mirror with how he spoke about change. You got Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. You got Tupac. We're gonna go to Tupac with a couple of his, like, not all of his songs, but like some of his songs, like Keep Your Head Up. It makes me think about that song, about how we gotta, you know, do more for ourselves and our community. There's so many songs we could just say out right now that is just provoking change, and it's like we've been on this road before. You got We Shall Overcome. We haven't overcome because we're still lost. It's almost like when in the Bible, when Pharaoh let the Egypt, not the Moses people go, and they had to walk around in the forest for 40 years because they were so stuck into being slaves that they had to walk around for 40 years for old people to die off, for people to die off that were so stuck into that mindset that it took for them to do all that, for the younger people to come out and God finally let them find their promised land, because you that's what's happening now. We're out of slavery and we're still walking around in a circle. And at this point, at some point, I'm hoping that the younger generation just wake up and snap out of it, because and apparently we're still stuck.
Yeah, these kids out here still wilding. It's going to take a whole lot to get them to snap out of it and, you know, to step up and make that change, and it's going to take a whole lot. You need because
we need to educate our kids so they could educate their kids. At some point, it is crazy because it makes me think of I was taking my daughter to her Upward Bound thing, and the lady that was interviewing she did an interview with my daughter, and she was just talking to her, and she was like, she had saw this thing on WorldStar. This is how clueless our kids are today. She saw the thing on WorldStar where they asked, you know, the question game where they asked them random things. The person walking up to people and asking them, what does LOL mean? And they laugh out loud. What does BRB mean? Be right back. What does the NAACP stand for? What? And they don't even know that. Wow. This is how clueless our generation is. That and she had my daughter looking at her like, what is that? Is that something, a text or something? And I'm looking at my daughter like, oh my God. Like, what are you learning in school? Like, what is this is like, and I had to take it back to her. I'm like, we got so many Black History movies, and I always make her watch movies like that to get her to understand, to open up her mind, and ask questions and think. But if she heard that expression before, I've told her before, and for her to sit there and be like, what does that mean? I don't know. And for somebody to have to tell her, it's like they're so clueless.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all on many different sides. You know, it ain't no one way to fix the ignorance. You feel me? Because there's a lot of things wrong in the Black community. First of all, like y'all was saying earlier, there's no trust. You feel me? Ain't no, don't nobody love thy neighbor. You feel me? I know in my hood, it's like, when I grew up, you came to my park, the old Fillmore Park. We was out there, you'll probably catch like 40, 50 of us just out there. You know what I mean? Everybody together. When there's a bunch of dudes, of course, you got to earn your stripes. You may get into a little fight, this, that, and the third, but everything was back love. But as we got older, I only rock. Like, you only catch me hanging with like 2 or 3 on a regular. Like, I see some of them same old dudes we grew up with, they get a handshake and a pound, and I keep it moving. Because, for some reason, over the years, that distrust in each other, everybody turning on each other, and we separated. Living in the same hood, you feel me? Families lived here forever, but we so separated. But then you gotta talk about the money. I always go back to the money too. Like, Black people don't got no value of money. All we know is to spend.
Yeah.
You feel me? We think looking good is being good.
That is
nobody know how to save. Nobody know how to manage money. You feel me? It's like
saving. Yeah, none of that.
None of that. They don't know none of that. I was
I learned about credit score. I ain't learned about credit score until I was a grown person.
I was telling this girl one day, I remember it was a few years ago. I was like, man, I'm trying to think, should I reinvest my dividend check or keep it and cash it? She was like, what's a dividend check? She thought I was talking. She was like, what you talking about dividends? You talking about math? Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, damn. And I had to break that down to her. I'm like, you feel me? I can't be mad at her because she didn't know. I can't judge her because she didn't know. But, like, she should know that. That stuff, like, we adults. I'm about to be 33 this year. I'm like, at that time, I'm probably like 28, 29. At that age still, you should know what I'm talking about. So I know if she don't know that about investments, this is simple investment language. If she don't know that, her kids don't know that. So that
Jordan's 11 are, they know what some Jordan 11 are, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, I know for me, I did one major step in my adult life other than getting life insurance and stuff like that. I actually recently signed up for, it's almost like a 401k. It's to save money for my future, for my kids and all stuff like that. And basically, like, it's with Prudential, they, do stocks and bonds like that. Like, I'm just getting introduced to that. And I'm 30-something. I'm 33. So, like, for me to, like, and I feel like for me that was a big step because as a Black person, period, that's not something I knew nothing about, especially living where I live. I've never known any other Black people that invest in stocks, never knew what bonds were, none of that stuff. And now I'm understanding stuff that I didn't know at age 33. So you can always learn something, but you have to be willing to educate yourself and find out and want to gain knowledge. It's a lot of people that, like you said, want to remain ignorant, don't want to know stuff, don't care. They just got that mentality where they just don't care. They got people out here in these gangs doing dumb stuff and don't have life insurance. So when you die, your family got to figure out how to bury you. Like, you got people that have been selling drugs for years that get locked up and can't bail themselves out. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you, and I'm like, at that point, this is why it's not attractive to me, because it's like you doing that, you get locked up every time you live, but you always got to call somebody to bail you out. Where's your bail money? I knew one guy, and I wish, I'm not even going to say his name, but I tell you, this boy walked around with bail money just in case. He was prepared. I don't know why he was saving it, because he said he never knew how his day was going to go. He'd be fine. Like, not that he was living any type of lifestyle, but he just never knew what could happen, so he always made sure he had bail money. Like, be smart about stuff. If you're going to be selling drugs, make sure you got bail money. If you're going to be out here gangbanging, have life insurance, because you never know. You're getting all this money, you're doing all this extra stuff, but you ain't got no life insurance, so your mom got to figure out how the hell she's going to bury you. And she got to start GoFundMe's and all this extra stuff because you ain't got no life insurance, you ain't got nothing. You just don't got nothing.
Exactly.
Like, come on, like, you got to be smarter. Like, that's one thing I never understood. If you've been selling drugs for 16 years and you ain't got no type of money saved up for nothing, so you're going to be locked up and you got to call your girlfriend or your parents to ask for commissary money to put money on your books and put money on your phones. Where's your money at? Like, so you ain't saved nothing. You just was hustling and throwing money away at random nonsense, going to strip clubs, going to AC, gambling and being stupid.
Because black people as a whole, not everybody. I don't want people out there listening to me thinking I'm just riding on black people. I'm talking about, I ain't generalizing everybody, but y'all, if you black, you know what I'm talking about. Most of us are buyers instead of sellers. We just out here, we get money. That money is put like this. I know some people, and this used to be me back in the day too. Like I'm talking from personal experience. My identity was stolen. I almost had to file chapter. I went bankrupt. I'm talking about I was down and out. I lost everything. 2 cars. I had bank accounts for my little brothers and sisters. You feel me? Like I had money because I used to work so hard, but I wasn't smart with my money neither. I used to just spend and spend. I used to see that check, some checks coming. I'm like, all right, I got that one check coming Thursday. I got that other check coming on Friday. What I'm going to do with that check, I'm going to go buy this outfit. I'm going to go buy these kicks. I might hit AC. Like you said, I used to hit AC all the time. Might go out of town or something. That money was spent before it even hit my account. So then when things pop up.
Paid on Friday, broke on Sunday.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, I had to learn. I had to really start from the basics. I used to have to read those, financial books from these people that be, Susie Orman and stuff like that. Like, I used to have to read that, listen to her, watch her show, just so I could gain some knowledge myself because I wasn't taught. I wasn't taught that coming up. How to manage your money, budget your money. And to this day, I still have one issue, and that's eating out. People don't realize, especially in the black community, we so sucked into these corner stores. Like, oh man, that's killing me.
Yeah.
You think you're getting a deal just 4 for $5 at McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's, but you think about it, if you go to Burger King every day, you get a 4 for $5, 5 days a week. That's $25 right there a week.
Yeah.
That's $25 a week. If you go 5 days a week, you go to work 5 days a week, and you going to Burger King or Wendy's or McDonald's, and if you're like, oh, I'm good, I'm eating off the dollar menu. Nah, just think about it. You're eating off the dollar menu, you get at least a burger, a fry, and something to drink. That's $3 at least, maybe 4. We'll say 4. You going 5 days a week. That's $20 a week. 4 weeks out of the month. That's $100 right there.
No, that's what I was. I like as much. I cook dinner almost every other day, and I always cook enough that there's always leftovers, probably for 2, maybe 3 days, depending on. So sometimes I don't have to cook as much, but I go to work and sometimes I don't eat breakfast home, so I definitely eat breakfast at work. But I'm mindful of how much I spend during the breakfast. But if you calculate breakfast and lunch, OMG, every day, 5 days a week.
Yeah. Yeah,
that is terrible.
People work that swing shift, and they get breakfast and lunch, or they'll get lunch and dinner on the road. I always made it the excuse that I work on the road and I don't have a microwave, so I can't take leftovers or anything. But at one point I started taking sandwiches, go to the store and buy some stuff rather than eating out every day because it was getting expensive. I'm talking like $20 at least, maybe a day. It sounds crazy, but you're like, if I'm going to Wawa, I'm gonna get me something to drink. I'm gonna get some chips. I'm gonna get a soda. All right, that's in the morning or afternoon. I work until the afternoon, and he's like, all right, I'm still hungry. Let me stop and get something to snack on. You back at Wawa, you back at McDonald's, spending $5 there. It's crazy.
Exactly. Oh man, it's so many issues in the community. I mean, we had the show before. On our earlier show. Huh?
We still can't get people to vote. You can talk about voting forever.
Yeah, but you talking about we can't even get, man and woman, black man and woman in the hood, you feel me, to get on the same page.
Yeah.
It's like it's a power struggle. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm going through it now with my child's mother. I mean, I ain't afraid to admit it. It's like it got to the point. That's why I say people getting off on other people's issues. It's like on past issues. So if a generation before, which I don't include my dad in, a lot of my uncles, they handle their business. If the generation before fathers were absent, you feel me? So the mothers then had to take over. So now you had a generation of women growing up thinking they don't need men, or they don't know how to, maneuver. They think it's a slight on a man being a man. You feel me? Taking care of his responsibility, and it's like, oh, you pushing me to the back seat. It's like now it becomes a power struggle. Instead of working together in unison, it's a power struggle over who's right and who's wrong. Instead of coming to some common understanding. I see this all the time. I'm telling you, all my I mentioned this before. I don't hang around dudes really who don't take care of their kids. You feel me? So all my boys that I do rock with, even heavy with or even acquainted with, they take care of their kids. It ain't but the majority of them are not with the mother. And their relationship with the mother is so contentious. It's like, I know dudes be like, man, I wish I could just have a baby but not deal with the female. Just give me my baby. Now, that's we're in a different generation now. So, it's like more fathers want to be fathers. So I think at some point, the man and the woman, we got to get together, instead of trying to use this power struggle. I don't understand why it's a power struggle within the black community between man and woman. It's serious.
Yeah.
Now, especially in my neighborhood.
It's kind of a norm now. It's not frowned upon. It's not to I don't know how to say it, not be expected. It's kind of expected. It's kind of a norm now for that situation to be around. Before you used to look at it, and like you say, the generations before, grandparents, parents, great grandparents, they stuck together through everything.
Exactly.
No matter what, they stuck together through everything. But nowadays, it's just well, we're moving on. Like I say, it's kind of a norm now.
Mm-hmm. And I think the system created that too. No, go ahead. I just that's all I wanted to say. I think the system helped create that situation in the black community too.
I agree, but I just think it's a lot of bitter people, like you said, living off of somebody else's pain, stuff like that. I know me and my daughter's father, he just be looking at me like, why I don't. He wants to, he's surprised that I'm not acting like a crazy, how most females act when they're not with their child as a parent. I'm okay. We don't have to be together. He's married and everything. I don't give a rat's ass. That's great. And my whole issue with him is just make sure you maintain consistent contact with your child. Period. Take care of her like you're supposed to, and be in her life. I don't feel like I have to make a big scene, argue with you over nonsense, tell you if you're being a deadbeat. I don't have to do that. You know what you're being. You know if you're in her life. You know if you're not in her life. You know if you know your child or you don't know your child. Everything is up to what you do. I'm not going to act out. I'm not going to come out about a character or act a fool so you can say, oh, she just that's my baby mom, she crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm not showing up at your house. I'm not doing none of that stuff. You know where your child is. You need to come get her, been tolerant, stuff like that. I've never have done that. I'm not going to start. It's we don't have to be together for you to maintain contact and do what you have to do. And that's one thing I don't understand, because I know guys that deal with females, they're no longer together, they had kids, and all of a sudden now it's a problem because you're not with him. You want to control who he has kids around. You want all this extra stuff. You want to have him see the kid only with you. You don't want him to have his girlfriend around the kid. It's bitter females. Not all, but some are very, very bitter, and they just don't know how to get past it. And that's how I say, you can tell if a female still has feelings for her child's father is by how she acts. Like, she could have feelings for him, like genuine feelings for him, but like.
But what if she in let me ask you a question though. What if she already in another relationship? And she still do that same exact stuff?
Some females don't care. That's like some guys don't care. Like, you could not be with this man for years. Y'all don't have a kid, but some of these guys believe that you're supposed to still have sex with them because that you had a kid with them. That's how some females feel like you belong to them. You're their child's father. That you belong to them, and that's why they're bitter. They don't want to see you happy. You want to be happy with them, so they don't want you happy with nobody else. It's a double-edged sword because some guys are like that, and some females like that, and that's how you can tell that they still harbor feelings for you. They still want to be with you, and they're just jealous. It's one thing. Like, I care about my daughter's dad. I hope that he lives a long, prosperous life. I wish the best for him. But, like, I don't want to be with him, so he can do what the hell he want to do. For all I know, he can go decide, you know what, I want to be gay. I'm going to go do that. Like, go ahead. Just make sure you still take care of your daughter. I don't care what you do. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I don't have to be with you to like, I don't have to be with you to like you. I cannot be with you and like you as long as you take care of your child. We gravy. And if you're not, I'm not going to take you down. You have an obligation, huh?
Hold up, y'all. We got like about 5 minutes left in the show. But we are going to continue this. We have the after show rolling in after this. If you guys want to chime in on anything that we talked about so far, you know, the Jesse Williams, we kind of got off the topic with that, and we're in a whole new topic. But if you guys want to chime in, you can definitely hit us up in the after show, 657-353-1155. Check us out on Blog Talk Radio. That's what I said, right?
No, you said 353.
657-383-1155. Check us out, blogtalkradio.com/GFT Radio Show. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Twitter. In a few minutes, we will be rolling into the after show, and we will keep this rolling. So hit us up and let us know if you have any opinions on anything. Just want to throw that out there before we ended that.
I want to disagree with one thing you said. I actually think we're still on topic because what we're talking about is basically what he was talking about in his speech. You know, I know the title of the show was, Why Are Celebrities' Voices More Profound than those who are not celebrities? But if we're going to get to the core of what he was talking about, these are the conversations I think that need to be had. Because like we said, we're tired of talking. You know, we need to come to what fixes it. You know, what ails it? What's ailing in our community? You know, and I think we touching on those topics.
All right.
So
I agree with that. I can roll with that.
So because basically, you know what I mean, I'm tired of, you know, one issue I may have with his speech. Now that I'm sitting here and talking, one issue I may have with his speech is, you know, I'm tired of blaming the white man for everything, or you know, sometimes we got to take some responsibility for our own actions.
Yeah, we got to get past that. It's not the white man's fault anymore. It's not his fault anymore. Like that's old. Like you say, like, hey, this is 2016. We got to stop. Like, yo, that is one thing that needs to be stopped. Stop blaming everything on white people, on the white man. Like, no, take some responsibility for what you did or your actions, and stop blaming the man.
Mm-hmm. And that's why, think about it. Why you think the majority of them really don't respect us? It's because we're coming from like a defeatist attitude, like, you know, with our hands out. You know, they, you know, in their mind, like, well, we came and took this. You feel me? If you in competition, because basically, everybody want to be like, we all human race. We all one race. We all one. You know what I mean? That's not reality. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, whether people want to accept it or not, you know, we're separated for a reason. You know what I mean? There's a reason why everybody's, you know, borders, different countries, different continents, we're separated for a reason. That's just how it always been. So when you're in competition with somebody, you're not asking them to help you beat them. And that's basically where black people are coming from, the standpoint they're coming from. Like, you know what I mean? Y'all got the advantage. You feel me? It's set up for y'all give us back the advantage and see what we can do. They like, why would we, you know what I mean? Think about it from their standpoint. Like, why would we change it? So we could be on y'all level or below. You feel me? Y'all got to earn that spot. We got to earn that spot. That's where I'm at with it.
We have to take advantage of it. It's set up for it. We just have to take advantage of it.
Exactly.
Like you said, they're waiting for a handout or they're waiting for it to put the blame on somebody else. Like, no, just go out there and get it. Don't blame anybody else for holding you back or holding you down. Go out there and get it.
That's one thing I learned. Like when I say my identity, I lost everything. That's one thing I learned personally. Like I could have really been complaining about, man, this happened to me, this happened to me. I could have had all types of excuses. They was right there at my foot. You know what I mean? But I had to look myself in the mirror. What did I do to open myself up for this to happen to me? You know what I mean? Somewhere along the line, like I always say, you can have the best intentions, but if your move's wrong, if you're not paying attention to what you're doing and how you're moving, you'll miss that and you'll trip up. And that's basically what happened. So I had to look in the mirror, you know, all right, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody else's fault. I got to step it up. You know, to be quite honest, you know, that was probably the best thing in life that ever happened to me. Because now, like, I survived that. So now there's nothing you can't tell me I can't do. You know what I mean? Or I can't get through. You feel me? I was sleeping on my mother's floor. You feel me? With a sheet. You understand? Off everything. You feel me? People looking at me crazy. You know what I mean? Like, wow, he done really felt, you know, but when you get back on your own, you know what I mean, with help from, you know, the family members and stuff like that, then what? You feel me? It feels so much better. That comeback is so much better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now them looks different. You feel me? And that's, you know, I think everybody should apply that. Black people should apply that. You know what I mean? They done held us down long enough, like, so, and we survived it. So it shouldn't be nothing we can't get over. You feel me? Like, especially with all this stuff out here for the taking.
Yeah, because you get stuff like, and it's crazy because I know and I was talking to this with a coworker. This girl, we both was on welfare at one point. She recently just got to welfare. She just got hired through our job through a program through welfare called Welfare to Work program. But it's called, like, you instantly work at a job. They place you at normally a state building, and then you have to, like, temp there until, like, not temp there, but, like, intern there, and then you get hired. And it's like, and me and her were talking, and I was just like, you know, so many females that are stuck in that system. And that system, and the welfare system is not the system you want to be in. And you gotta basically get yourself out of it because you can get sucked in by that free money. They're helping you pay your rent, and you get sucked into living into those Section 8 housing or the projects and stuff like that. And you get sucked in like, this is my life. This is as long as I can pay my rent. And like people get stuck in that situation where they want to do better. And I'm just like, I'm so glad that I had the will to not want to be okay with that. I want it better for myself because I think that's the problem with a lot of people. They get stuck in a situation. They get stuck somewhere and they get comfortable. And they never want anything better than what they are already at because they're comfortable. So you get so comfortable that you lose sight of your focus or your motive or anything. And you're just stuck there. Like that's and like you have to want more for yourself.
Right. Everything that's stagnant does.
You gotta want it because there's some people out there, like you say, you get comfortable living in that situation in that system, and you ain't have to worry about nothing. You good. You think you're good,
I know
but
people
you're not.
Welfare back when I was on it. My daughter was 3. My daughter's 13 now, so they've been on welfare for 10 years, and they still on welfare. Like you just ain't want to do nothing. At that point, you don't want to do nothing. You're comfortable. You like basically that's your job, to be on welfare for the rest of your natural born life. And it's like, why do you got? That's why you got these 3 generations of people being on welfare because nobody wants better. They get stuck in that system, and then they grow up seeing that it's okay, or mommy was on it, let me get on it too. And it's like, come on, like you don't want better.
What about the flip side of that? Some people, a lot of people in the black community, we had this topic before too, feel entitled. You know what I mean? For what has been done to us as a race.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So they feel entitled, and they got their hands out. Like, y'all supposed to be helping us. It's like, you know, everybody think, you know, somebody owes them something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that really irks me. Like, don't nobody owe you nothing in this world. Don't nobody owe you a damn thing. So, you know what I mean? People got to get that out their head. You feel me? Especially in this community. Like, I see people like me, like, I feel like, you know, their actions are warranted for stuff that happened, you know, 50, 60 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bruh, you know what I mean? We're dealing with our own struggles now, and you're part of the problem because you're stuck in the past.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not helping us move forward.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I just don't understand, like how people could get complacent with their life and be okay with that. Like, you have to, like, you know, you're teaching these kids to not want anything. Like, I want my son to do better than what I did. I graduated high school. Yeah, I went to college. I didn't finish. Yeah, I got a stable job, but I want them I want them to go to college. I want them to better themselves. I want them to be as educated and as sound as possible. So I want better for them. I want my daughter to be pregnant at 18, having a baby at 19, and then just living her life and going on. I did that. I want better for her. Like, you have to show your kids better. Even if you didn't do it, like, you gotta make these kids see something better than what you had.
I know one thing I do with my daughter, you know, everybody know, like, you feel me, my health situation. So I can't, you know, work. I'm on disability or whatever. But before I got on disability, I can't. They might cancel my disability, so I can't say too much. You know what I mean? But, you feel me? I'm going to just say, before I got on disability, while I was waiting to get on disability, them checks to come in, you know, I didn't just sit around. You know, I was, you know, the dude, Robert Kiyosaki, you ever think Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of that book?
Yeah.
So one thing he said in there that always stuck with me, because I read that book probably over 10 years ago. One thing that stuck with me was, he was like, you got to learn how to create money. You feel me? The problem with everybody is, you know, everybody can go make money, work for somebody, but, you know, the wealthy, or, you know, mainly the wealthy, because wealth is different than being rich. That was one of the things he was, you know what I mean, pointed out. He said the wealthy know how to create money. Mm. That's what made me get into investing and stuff like that, because that money creates more money without you working.
Yeah,
so
that money works for them. They money. They don't work for the money. The money works for them. They're invested in different companies, different corporations. The money is doing more than just getting them. The money is getting them money.
Mhm. So one thing, you know, everybody know I started my little transportation service or whatever, you know, and it started from nothing. Just for giving a couple friends a ride to work, and, you know, next thing you know, it was booming. I was actually making more money doing that than what I was doing, you know, when I was working, because it was tax-free. You know what I mean? So, but what I was teaching my daughter was, you know, and I would stress this, you know what I mean, try to, you know what I mean, create your own money, create your own lane. Don't just go and be a worker. You know what I mean? Nothing against being working. You know what I mean? I worked my whole life, multiple jobs at a time. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a worker. But at the same time, while you're doing that, sometimes you got to hustle. You know what I mean? Grind from the bottom just to get to the bottom. Create your own lane doing something. You know, turn a hobby into some money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And don't just sit on that money. Use that money to make more money.
Yeah.
You know, then you save something. Like, yeah, saving is key. But, you know, if you're just sitting on money and it's not growing, then you're really not doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So that's one thing. She be understanding me, because sometimes, you know, she be asking for stuff. You know, I was like, all right. Like, she want a tire swing. She want me to put up a tire swing in the backyard. I'm like, well, okay. You know, I could go buy the tire swing right now. You know what I mean? But, you know, I'm not teaching her no lesson by just going to get it. So a lot of times when she with me, I take her on rides with me. I said, well, you want the tire swing? We got to go make this money to get the tire swing. So sometimes when my phone rang and she with me, I'd be like, babe, we got to go. I don't want to go. You want that tire swing? We got to get this money. She'll hop right up. To me, that's going to instill in her that if she wants something, she can't just sit around and wait for it.
Yeah.
She's going to have to get up and go work for it and go earn it. So I don't want her to get, stagnant into the place to where, like you said, hands out, waiting for stuff. Like, no, you got to get up and go out and earn it. And at the same time, create your own lane.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing a lot of people should teach their kids, because I wish I knew that stuff when I was younger. But.
Yeah, we talked about that last week on some of these classes that I took in school. I wish I would have had them. I took these classes in college. I wish I would have had them the money management, the financial classes. They were like requirements, prerequisites, requirements. They're basically introduction classes into college, but they need to teach these kids these things earlier. I wouldn't even mind like middle school, high school, because middle school, you're working in middle school. You get your working papers when you're in middle school. Get your nice little paper route of working at a little McDonald's or a little fast food. They need to start teaching these kids earlier about money and finances instead of waiting until they get to college where it's too late. Start these kids in investing. My dad had me looking at stocks and stuff when I was in middle school, early in high school, looking into stocks. Oh, this is a good stock. I had to every weekend pulling out the business section of the paper and researching stocks. And that's one thing I'll always remember, that he had me looking at that stuff early. Kids nowadays wouldn't even tell you what the stock market is. The Dow Jones and all that. They couldn't even tell you what any of that is. But my dad had me looking at that every week when I was younger, in middle school, high school. Hey, you're going to take this little bit of money that you're making from the job, you're going to put some of it in some stock. That's what needs to be. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to be done.
Yeah. And then I think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I was about to change the topic, but if you got something else to say about that, go ahead.
No, I was just about to say, when you said a lot of kids don't know what it is, because they're scared to learn. They're scared to make themselves uncomfortable. Because when you start reading that stuff, you look at the stock market, you start reading, some of that stuff will confuse them. They're talking a whole nother language at first. You know what I mean? Let's be real. You'll think they're talking, and that scares some people. So they don't really want to try. So they take the easy way out. Like I said, to ignorance is bliss. Oh, I don't need to know that. That don't got nothing to do with me. You feel me? And that's why a lot of people, don't try to get into stocks, because they think it's some, foreign language to them.
Yeah. They talk about NASDAQ and Dow and money markets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I know when I sat down.
And all of that.
Now, I know when I sat down with the guy from Prudential, he was like, we was talking about that, and he was explaining it to me, and then he was like, do you want to be an aggressive person or a moderate or a low? And I'm like, what? I'm like, he had to explain that to me. And because I'm like, what? Because when he's aggressive, I'm like, well, wait a minute. I mean, if I owe somebody, wait a minute, I don't want to owe anyone. But if you don't know, you have to ask questions. You have to want to know. You have to want to know stuff. Somebody's not going to just tell you stuff. It's like certain things, like when you go to certain, like when you on welfare or different programs you on, they're not going to tell you what they all, everything they offer. You have to ask most of the time. You have to ask.
I was at my job for about 2 years before I found out that they had a 401k program. I was at my job for 2 years before I found out that they had 401k. And I'm out here saying 401k, and we probably got people out there that don't even know what a 401k is.
Yeah.
I was there for 2 years. I wish I would have invested earlier. I mean, I'm in it now. I'm pretty good in there. I had somebody help me set it up. But, if you don't know these things, ask about it. I mean, my company matched us with our 401k. This was 11 years ago, up to like 6%. And I'm saying these numbers now, and people are probably like, I don't know what any of that means. But if your job has a 401k, that's something that you should probably get into. That has to deal with you when you retire. You'll have your nice little 401k set up so that you can retire and have a nice little bit of a change left over so that you can live. But
that's the big
401k.
Yeah, because I got a pension plan with my job, but I also got that. Ours is not a 401k. It's like a 401k, but is set up to have, like, along with my pension, that's extra. That what I'm doing now is having extra money for my future, so my pension, if I have it, because, you know, Christy, I can up with our pension plan, so I don't know if we're going to have that. But this is like a backup to the pension plan.
Yeah. And also for those people out there, if you're working for a company, I used to work for UPS for quite a few years, you know, they're on the stock market. So if you're working for a company that has employee stock where maybe you can get it at a discount, or like, yeah, I would, you know, to me, just UPS, I'm still getting paid off UPS. You know, I'm in what they would call a DRIP program, where all my dividends getting reinvested back into, you know what I mean, to buy more stock, so to make more money, so it's worth more. You know, so people, if you out there and you got a job and your job has that stock purchase program, look into it. You know, $10. You know, with mine, I started off, we got paid every week, so I started off slow. You know, I started off $10 a week. You know, I figure, I waste that going to the corner store or something on stupid stuff. You feel me? So when you look at it like that, like, all right, I'll probably waste $10 on some irrelevant stuff. Let me use that $10 a week to invest into my future to make more money. You know what I mean? I think
because Comcast has that. I mean, Comcast stock is up to about $62, around $61, $62 a share. But with the employee stock purchase program, I can get them for maybe like 15 to 20%, maybe even more cheaper. Which means I'm paying between like $30 and $40 a share. And if your company has an employee stock purchase program, you should invest in that, because you're basically buying shares in your company. And those shares, you can trade them, you can sell them, you can buy more shares, you can do whatever. You can be invested in the stock market, and that can make you some money. Definitely make you feel. I've been at my job for 11 years, and I was, like I said, it took me a while to get involved in all that. But once I was and started seeing, like, yo, you know, I got all this money in here. You can't touch it now. I mean, you can, but you'll pay taxes and penalties and all that other kind of stuff. But it'll help you in the long run. Definitely help you in the long run.
I learned it from, he was a few years older than me. You know, when I first started at UPS, I remember, like, after my third day, I was like, man, I'm about to quit this. You feel me? And he was like, man, they Rich Holland. You feel me? He was like, man, don't quit. He was like, don't quit, stick it out. I said, man, I don't want to work here, man. This is ridiculous. You feel me? They ain't paying us enough to really for what are we doing. They say you gotta know how to work it. So, you know, at UPS we got these computers at our stations to where we could go on to like a UPSer's website and look at our own personal profile, you know, our stocks and all that. So he showed it to me. You know what I mean? He's like, look, you know, he broke everything down. And then when he got his check, his pay stub, he showed me his pay stub, because it was two different types of ways you can invest. You know what I mean? It's like a plan A and a plan B. He invested in both of them. And like he was there for like 10 years already. And, you know, he worked a second job. So he's like, he basically used, you know what I mean, 70% of his check, because he was able to do it, to invest into the company. You know, and at one point, the plan A was like, you know, 20-something thousand. Plan B was at like 35,000. I'm like, damn. You know, because he worked a lot of hours, he was getting overtime. And he's like, they're going to make me almost a millionaire. I say that to say this to people. It ain't, that situation not going to work for everybody, because he had a second job where he was making $90,000 a year. So he was able to sacrifice the whole check, you know, to invest in. But that gave me the idea, and it made me start that little $10. You know, and then when I ended up quitting, I worked there for like, you know, 5 years. I had like $6,000 invested. But like I said, I was in that DRIP program, so, you know, them dividend checks kept reinvesting. I'm still in reinvesting, so that thing keep growing. You know, that thing going to keep growing. Whether or not, you know, say the stock crash or whatever, you know, and that come down a lot, I'm still at the end of the day going to have some savings left. You know what I mean? I still, you know what I mean, still gonna have money. You know, so I tell everybody, you know, gotta learn how to work the system, work the job. It's more than when you go to the job, look past just doing the work. You know what I mean? See what you can learn. See what you can learn. You know what I mean? Look past just the work. You know what I mean? Because there's more to it. You feel me? See what them suits talking about. You know what I mean? See what type of stuff they into. You know, if they in the stock purchase, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? How they budget their money. You know? And that's, you feel me? Stop hanging around broke people who don't know nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
You feel me?
That's exactly what it is.
You feel me? I can't, like certain friends I have, you know, with certain people, I in certain conversations, I feel bad. Like, you know, you can't have with them. Because first they're not going to understand. Or, not that they not going to understand, that they don't want to understand. You feel me? Like, they don't care about it. It's like, why? Like, why? You know what I mean? They more so, you know what I mean, man, I'm going to just go out here. Like you said, there were a few shows back, you was like, I'm going to just go out there and get it. Like, all right, what that mean? I'm going to just get it. Like, what that mean? Like, what you talking about? You going to get what? How? What's your plan? You know what I mean? You got a backup plan, bro? What's going on? That's funny to me when people say that. So I had to get on my grind. I'm out here grinding.
Definitely glad we was able to sit here and talk about these 401ks, employee stock, you know, try and get these people educated, whole stock market. I mean, we could do a future show on that. Or, you know, tell the kids, you know, go out, hit the library up, or go talk to somebody who's involved in stocks and in programs like that. A lot of people say it's risky, but I mean they got penny stocks. Penny stocks are kind of risky, but I mean they got penny stocks out there. They got these stocks that cost hundreds of dollars. I mean, the more you look into it and read into it, the more info you get, you'll realize like, yo, you know, I could make me a whole lot of money out here with some stocks. The funny thing, I remember my dad always told me he invested stock in Hanes, and he invested in Waste Management. And one thing he told me, people are always going to need socks and underwear, and people are always going to have trash. And those, like, you gotta sit and think, like, all right, you know, things that people use every day. People going to have trash every day, and people going to need socks and underwear every day. The better a company does, the better their stocks do. That's what it all comes down to. I mean, you got these Yahoo and Apple and Google stocks that are out here that are $100, $200 per share. If you own just one share of that, you got $200 right there. But I mean, you got to look into it. Some of these stocks are good, some of them are bad, some of them will make you money, some of them will lose you money, some of them are long-term stocks. You got to invest into it for a year or longer before you actually start seeing some return. It's definitely it's a game. It's chess. It's a game. You got to look into it. You got to do your research, and in the long run, it'll get you some money. I mean, yeah, you're gonna lose some money, but yes, you will make some money too. If you invest properly, and you have somebody who's not just out there. You get one of these financial advisors, somebody who's actually gonna work with you and talk to you and educate you instead of just sitting out here trying to get your money. You'll find out that the stock market is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. You said it best earlier, bro. Y'all can just go to the library. Now, I worked at the library while I was working at UPS. Thing you need to know is in the library. You just got to siphon it out.
Go to the library no more. They don't go to the library no more.
Facts.
Don't nobody know about no library. They got a cell phone in their hand that has Google and Siri. They don't need no library. So,
I used to be in the library, but I'd be looking, right? You know, a lot of people, they come in there and use a computer. You feel me? A lot of them, they just sit at the computer playing games. I'm talking about these grown folks. Are you serious? Like, y'all in here playing games? You feel me? Candy Crush on the computer? Are you serious?
My wife said to me the other day because I still read the newspaper. I the paper copy. I don't look on the internet and get no story. I still read the paper copy of the newspaper.
I'm gonna tell you how bad it is.
I don't read newspapers anymore.
I'm gonna tell you how bad it is. You feel me? A lot of people, you know, first of all, a lot of y'all, simple things, don't know how to do a resume. You feel me? That's something people need to learn. People, you know, they don't even know how Haitians properly. Like, you'll be surprised how many times people came to the library. And my coworkers actually had to sit. You know, we're not really supposed to do this. You feel me? You used to have to log them into the website to where, you know, the application was and actually started for them. You know what I mean? These are adults, you know, young adults, older adults, you know, teenagers. I'm like, wow. You know, this is stuff they should be teaching y'all. Like, y'all have no clue. Like, you have no clue how to even fill out an application properly.
Unemployment, they have specific classes. That's one of our buildings. But they have classes where they teach them resume writing, you know, all that stuff. They need to go to their one-stop and get some help. But people I don't know.
Yeah, but they would come to the library expecting us to do it for them.
Yeah.
Like, I need somebody. They would come in there like, yo, I need somebody to type my resume up for me. Like, oh, bro, that's not our job.
Yeah.
We'll log you onto the computer. Then from there, you know what I mean, we'll even show you what a template at for the resume. But from there, you on your own, bro. You know what I mean? Like, well, you should have brought somebody with you. You know what I mean? We're not obligated to do that.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it was sad working here that some of the stuff, you know, simple things, like people didn't have the skills, you know, even, working on computers. You feel me? Like, you know, one lady was on Google.com, you know what I mean, asking me how to get to Google. I'm like, ma'am, you're on Google. Like, ma'am, you're on Google.
You ain't got to tell me
I
mean? I be at work, and people were trying to get into the site called Employee Self-Service, where they can view and put their own pay stubs. They're like, I need you to print 7 months with the pay stub. No, man, you can do it yourself. I don't got time for that computer shit. I'm like, well, I don't have time for it either. I can't tell you something.
They don't know how.
Yeah, they don't know how. They don't know how, or they don't want to do it.
More likely they don't know how. You feel me? That's the problem. Like, in the technology age, how you don't know how, or how you don't have the will to learn it because you're going to get left behind. You feel me? That's what people don't understand. Like, this stuff is advancing quickly.
I don't want to blame it on it, but it's the older generation. Like, they, we had a guy at my job who didn't got an iPhone because they switched everybody over to iPhone. We went from Nextel and stuff to iPhone. He didn't know how to work the iPhone. Never checked his voicemail messages, and it's not even hard. You don't even have to dial your number to check your voicemail anymore. You got a little icon that tells you have a voicemail. You listen to it.
Exactly.
He don't know how to use a laptop. He don't know how to check his voicemail. He don't know how to make a three-way phone call. Don't know how to click over. Like, the technology is changing. These people aren't learning with it. That's what's crazy. But this was we wrapping down, getting down to the last couple of minutes of the show. It was a great show tonight, guys. I think we covered a lot of topics, and hopefully we had some people who have some opinions. We didn't get any calls tonight, but hopefully we'll get some feedback later. But you can catch us every Thursday, 10 p.m. to 11:30. You can catch us on our Facebook, on our Instagram, and on our Twitter. You can check out the GFT Radio Show. Blog Talk Radio. I'm all messed up. This lady's talking to my ears. blogtalkradio.com/GFT Radio Show. You can catch everybody on their own personal information. Clint, you want to give yours out?
Yes, y'all can hit me up at akingstruth.com. That's my blog. That's AKINGS truth.com. You can hit me on Twitter at @TrentonGroomy. You know, Snapchat, everywhere else is a King's Truth. Get at your boy.
Sonny?
I am Sonny_D, Instagram and Twitter. I'm reservedlyme.wordpress.com. Find me.
And you can find me, JRose609, everywhere. I'm social. Just Google me. Like I say, blogtalkradio.com/GFT Radio Show. Get at us. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Peace.
A Napa guy knows not to judge a man by his car's multicolored paint job or absence of modern gadgetry. Who cares if it's technically old enough to vote and the windows are powered by the strength of your left arm? Your monthly payment is zero, and it'll stay that way. Because with over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. She may not be pretty, but she's all yours. That's Napa know-how.